The Dallas Cowboys and the city of Oxnard proudly welcome you to training camp. The boys are back for a new season and a championship run.
This is when we build the team right here in Oxnard.
In session, lock in, baby.
Welcome into a brand new edition of Special Edition, or should I say Aloha. We are getting you set for Cowboys LA Rams out in Honolulu. Newton, Rick Gosselin with me back here in the studio at the Star. And guys, I'm ready to jump right in and get your thoughts. You've had time to think about what you saw in that San Francisco game. Good, bad, ugly. Let's hear it, Nate.
You know what? I like Blake Jarwin and the way he played. I think he had a lot of reps. I saw him on a hot route, break off, do what he had to do, help his quarterback. Mike Weber, you're running pretty good, but you got to be better on the blitz pickup. And other than that, the preseason game went just like I thought. Boring.
You know, once upon a time, the preseason mattered. Vince Lombardi once won 19 consecutive preseason games. He was 42-8 in his career in preseasons. In '71, the Cowboys won the first Lombardi Trophy. They were 6-0 in the preseason. That was then. This is now. The Cowboys have not won a preseason game since August 2017. Last year, the Cowboys and Seattle both went 0-4 in the preseason, both went 10-6. What you saw last weekend means nothing.
And I'm going to say that I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're probably going to see that for 3 more weeks with the Cowboys having a laundry list of injuries right now. Some serious, some not so much, right?
Right.
Kind of expecting to see second and third, even in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? The Rams, didn't play nobody last year. No. And they went nobody, none of their starters. And they got to the NFC Championship game and a little bit further. I thought it was the Super Bowl.
And that's going to be the trend.
Yeah.
And more and more teams are going to hold the starters back because August means nothing. You don't win championships in August.
All right, guys, we're just getting started here on Special Edition. When we come back, stock up, stock down. Which players are having an exciting preseason? Who is going up for these guys and who is trending downward? We've got some names that you'll want to take down right after this.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today.
We're back here on Special Edition at the Star in Frisco. I'm told during commercial break we've got some undebatable facts from these guys for stock up, stock down. Now, everybody watched preseason game number 1. You watched those rookies, maybe had some names that you thought this is exciting and some you thought this might not be good. So the first one, I'm going to call out to you, Nate. You say stock up for safety Donovan Wilson out of A&M. Had a great showing.
Yes, he did. He had an interception during the game. In blue-white scrimmage, I think he got a fumble, and he's doing well. But I had to go out to Mickey Spagnola and Brian Broaddus to get some true facts. Brian Broaddus like this guy. He's going to press Kayvon Frazier. Kayvon, you're going to have to be more than just a special team guy because they say this is an up-and-coming guy.
All right, next up, stock up for Rick. You say Cooper Rush, and I am 100% with you. I was down on field level during the game, and he was moving quicker, a lot quicker than last year.
Yeah, stock up marginally, though, because you can't afford to lose.
Keeping it real.
You can't afford to lose Dak Prescott. If Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, if these quarterbacks go down, their teams become Super Bowl long shot. It doesn't matter who the backup is. Since 2000, if you lost your starting quarterback, your winning percentage dropped from 53% to 43%. What you don't want your backup to do is lose games, and that's what I liked about Cooper Rush. He didn't make mistakes. He's not going to put this team in bad position that'll cost him games.
But Mike White, on the other hand, yeah, it doesn't
Let's
look
don't
like.
do that. Let's don't do that.
Just saying, I don't know if there's that much of the competition talk as there was.
If you want the thumbs down, we'll talk Mike White. You asked me about Cooper Rush.
Stock down. Let's move into it. Nate, you are first. I actually asked the head coach about this going into the halftime break. Are you concerned about Brett Maher? And he said, I don't really like those misses. And this seems to be a continual problem.
Last year, this guy sealed his destiny against the Texans with about a 50-plus field goal. Then towards the end of the year, he started missing those close ends, those 30s, those 40-yarders. You cannot do that if you want to be a consistent winner or a competitor into the playoffs. This guy has to get on a hot streak and continue this thing, because if he misses a few more, we'll have a bunch of guys, a bunch of kickers in camp here very soon.
Stock down for you, Goose. John Vay Johnson, I know he was a camp favorite, but there was a lot of things that I just had to go, oh no, I don't want this to happen during the game.
The coaches love what they saw from Johnson in the offseason program in the minicamps because of the speed, 4.38. They put the pads on, and what they saw the other night, 8 passes, 3 catches, 2 drops. That speed does nothing for you if you can't hold on to the football. If you're an undrafted rookie, you cannot afford to have a bad practice, a bad game, a bad meal, a bad anything. And
the bottom line on this kid is outside the numbers. He's a sprinter. He's a go-getter. His radius of catch grows. But as he gets inside the number, and it's called the quick slant, he turns into alligator arms, and you cannot have that. You have to be a little bit more consistent.
I'm told he's one of the most talented receivers out there, guys, but that just goes to show you as a rookie how hard it is to mentally pick up everything that's thrown at you at camp.
Yes, it is, and plus the physicality of what's happening in the NFL.
And he was undrafted. And this is a very deep receiving core. You can't have bad days with this receiving core.
All right, guys, more to come. We're checking in with Stephen Jones, who gives us an update on all these things we've been talking about. Stock up, stock down, Hawaii, quarterback troubles, and more after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Things are officially starting to wrap up out in Oxnard as the team has made their way to Hawaii. Now, scouts, coaches, players, everyone stay out at training camp for the duration to keep on evaluating these rookies to see where they are. Nick Eatman of DallasCowboys.com is catching up with Stephen Jones to get more on just that.
Thanks, guys, and we are joined once again by Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. Thank you for joining us here. We got this final week of camp in Oxnard. You say this has been another productive one here in the books. Camp's not over, but it will be here.
Well, we get so much done here, and you come out here and you realize why you do it. So convicted that it helps. Our team. One, they get away, from the everyday lives of family and girlfriends and friends, and they get to come here for 3 weeks and focus on the task at hand, and it lets them get away from that. And then, of course, you get out here and the weather's great. You're not just in survival mode. You're into getting better. Overall, I think we've had a great camp, and I think we're looking forward to playing 3 more preseason games and fired up about it.
We were talking a little bit beforehand about the importance of when a coach or somebody kind of calls out a player individually and how that can mean a lot of good things. So you said a lot of young guys were doing well. Can you pinpoint 2 or 3 or 4 that kind of stood out more in your mind?
Well, first of all, I'd say you're right. Some of the guys that I think have really stepped up.
The draft pick out of Texas A&M, Donovan Wilson.
Donovan Wilson made a big play in the game, big interception. Said Wilson had a big game up until, he got the targeting penalty and got the concussion, but he was having a great game. Obviously, John Vea, number 81, is showing a lot of good things, but he's also showing his eyes are big, too, or some of these drops. But hopefully he can clean those up. And then Joe Jackson, the blue-white scrimmage, and then again in the preseason game, it just seems like when the lights go on, he takes it to another level. And he likes to hit, and he plays the way Rod likes him to play, which is, chases the ball. Everything about him is, pinpoints to a Marinelli-type player.
Luke Gifford, a guy he's always an undrafted guy or 2 or 3 with this team that kind of jumps out on the radar. He's been doing that. He gets an interception. How unfortunate was it that he has the ankle injury?
Well, I missed him. I mean, he's obviously one who just continues to jump off the tape at you and, is making a real push for this team. And it's unfortunate he's going to miss some time here, but he's put a lot out there in terms of somebody that, I think has earned his way in the top consideration for being on this team. And it's like you said, it's unfortunate he got hurt, but, he does everything the right way, whether it's defense, whether it's special teams. I think he dislocated his finger the other day. A compound dislocation came through his skin. He said, just stitch me up. I'm ready to get back in there and play. So he's got the right mentality. We're fortunate to have him.
Will there be trouble in paradise? Stephen Jones up next discusses the kicker situation that we've already touched on and the backup quarterbacks. Is there still a competition? We'll hear more from Stephen Jones next.
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
Closer and closer to Cowboys Rams in Honolulu, still getting you set and talking about some of these really big storylines going into the game. Let's check back in with Stephen Jones and Nick Eatman of DallasCowboys.com.
Thanks again, and we are joined again by Stephen Jones. And Stephen, we talked a lot about some of the younger guys earlier on before about how they're performing in the game. And Cooper Rush did a nice job for you there, driving the ball down the field a few times.
Well, I think he answered a lot of questions. Not that one game is the answer, but he certainly had an outstanding game. And, when you talk about who were standouts in the game, he was one of them. And the balls that he did miss were either drops or balls that were right there to be caught. And he had a great feel in the pocket. He knew, his internal clock was working great. He had a great way of easing up in the pocket, easing out of the pocket to make plays for the team. But, he kind of reminded us a lot of that guy that really got our attention 2 years ago in the preseason.
Sure. What are your thoughts on how Brett Marhart has performed here? I know he had a tough miss, but he hit 3 makes.
We've got a lot of confidence in our kicker, and nobody's hit any type of panic buttons around here. He's a hard worker. He's got the right nervous system in terms of what he needs to work on. Everybody's pointing to that right hash mark now and saying, is he going to be able to get that fixed? I'm a firm believer that he will, just because the type of person that he is.
I know you can't really get into specific negotiations. I wouldn't ask you that. But overall, in general, there's a lot of reports about certain numbers, figures back and forth. That's kind of the process of how things go, right? You've seen some crazy numbers to start off. It's part of how you negotiate. Yeah,
I've seen some things that are accurate and a lot of things that are inaccurate. And but in general, it's not frustrating for us. It's just something, that's business. And sometimes business moves faster than other times.
Okay.
And, ultimately, I think we'll get to a point and feel good about getting to a point that we'll get all 3 of these guys signed, and hopefully the contracts that they're happy with, but also, which is the important part, and that's the distribution dilemma here that we have, is that we obviously want to keep all our young players. I do feel like our players want to be Dallas Cowboys. I think, rarely have we run across players in the 30 years we've had the team that are looking to leave, that want to go to another team. But at the same time, you don't want to take advantage of that. The fact that, hey, you get great endorsements when you're a Dallas Cowboy. You got great opportunities after football, like Tony Romo and Jason Witten and Troy Aikman, and the list goes on in terms of the success they've had after football and being a Dallas Cowboy. You want them to be happy while they're playing. So I do think it's important, that we ultimately find a middle ground here, that everybody can get on the same page.
Sounds good. And speaking of happy, most of the players and coaches and staff and everybody should be happy being in Hawaii. So
well, that'll be a great trip for us. And then I know, once they make that trip and get a good taste of that, they're going to be happy to be home.
Definitely. All right, we appreciate it again. It's been a great camp here. I know the camp will continue in Frisco when we get back, but thanks for joining us.
Always great to be on, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. And yes, a quick reminder, Cowboys players, everyone are coming straight back here to the Star immediately following the game. Go to thestarinfrisco.com because tickets, admission, parking, everything is free to come to training camp from August 20th to 27th. So we will see you there. Wrapping up the show, Nate and Goose will join me again, and we will discuss many questions as we go into LA Rams versus Cowboys in Honolulu.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Cowboys back to Honolulu, former home of the Pro Bowl. Tell me about those days, Nate, because I know you were out there.
When I went to my first Pro Bowl in 1992, I think it was 1992, I told the guys the year before, 4 or 5 guys had made it, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman. I said, you know, I told myself and I told the media, I said, if I ever make the Pro Bowl, first time I go over there, I'm going to wear a grass skirt. And I promise you, when I got there, they had that grass skirt, and I was doing a hula hoop, baby.
Where's the video of this?
Yeah.
We didn't know you were going to say this. Hopefully next week we can fit that into the show. Yeah. I know we have that archive somewhere. All right, it's time for 4 downs. I've got questions for you guys. First one is, first down, are y'all concerned about the red zone threat in the San Francisco game? I know it's the preseason, but reminder, last year they were 26th in converting.
No, I'm not worried about it because Zeke, by that time, Zeke will be back. Kellen Moore will have everything and the packages in place to do what is necessary. I think, Goose, that this is going to be a good red zone team with the different packages of tight ends, wide receivers. Amari Cooper's going to be a part of this. I think they'll be okay in the red zone.
Yeah, I'd be concerned if last week Deke, Zach, and Amari were all on the field. They weren't on the field. This isn't the red zone offense we're going to see in September. And I do think Kellen Moore's got a few tricks up his sleeve that we're not going to see in August. I think he's got some things in him.
Remember, Kellen Moore was asked this offseason, how do you better yourself in the red zone? He goes, run the ball.
That's it.
That was it.
Simple.
Run the ball. Second down. Thoughts on Dak seeking a $40 million? Okay, is that even true? Like, we don't even really know. Both sides have not publicly commented, but just what are you thinking, guys, about this?
Goose, what do you think?
Well, isn't Nate seeking $40 million from the program here? No, I think it's all posturing. I mean, he's going to end up somewhere between 30 and 40. The Cowboys say 30, 40. It'll be somewhere between 34 and 36.
That's how you negotiate, right?
Yeah, it's on negotiation.
You know, I think that by Dak being here and his people and representatives have been out there talking to the ownership, they know what's happening. You know, things leak out, whether it's the Cowboys, whether it's his party, Dak's party. It happens. $40 million, is he worth it? We don't know. $30 million, is he worth it? We don't know. But you know what? This thing will get done. Around what time?
Yeah, I think by the end of August we'll have this done. Then Zeke is a priority in the first part of September.
All right, and Amari is the third big name in the group of 3, and he kind of plays into my next question. Third down, which injury at this point are you guys most concerned about? It seems like, yes, they may be little, but they are stacking up this training camp. Don't really think we'll see many starters from here on out.
Zach Martin.
With his back?
I know that's a small thing, but 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we had the same thing with Tyron Smith. We had the same thing with my man Sean Lee. That is a big deal for me. Zach Martin is the glue to what I think this offensive line is. And if he is not in there and operating at 100%, it puts a strain on our guard and center combos.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the Penn State guys. Sean Lee, Connor McGovern. I thought both would be impact players this year. I think McGovern is a natural guard, will be a good fit for a long time in this group. He hasn't been on the field yet. And Sean Lee has never played a 16-game season. He's already hurt before the contact started.
My mood was really high at the beginning of the show, and after that, it's kind of going down. So let's pick it back up on fourth down. Mark Tuinei. How about some memories of this guy? Hawaii native, played for the Cowboys.
Man, I love him,
Throw this name out.
I love him.
Show love.
That's my boy. We played left tackle. I played with him for, I think 6 or 7 years. We made a few Pro Bowls together. Baby, we used to bounce some people. I remember you used to say, Nate, give me a hand. I got ALT out there. I say, set them ribs up, baby, and we'll rack them. I love you, Mark. That's my man.
Yeah, he was a Pro Bowl left tackle in an era of the 3-4 defense and that edge rusher, Derek Thomas, Lawrence Taylor, Pat Swilling, Chris Dolman, Bruce Smith. He had the block Hall of Famers, and he was a Pro Bowl player at it.
All right. Goose, Nate, I'm Lindsay Draper. We hope you enjoyed us getting you set for Cowboys-Rams in Hawaii. Then the Cowboys are coming back home. But for now, we're going to leave you with this, a snippet of a brand new series on DallasCowboys.com called The Process. Check out the full episode there, and we will see you guys next week when everyone's back here at the Star.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Go, Lord! Maybe 2 minute water break.
I don't know which one is filming right now. It's about to be a show.
Let's go, knock him back.
32 blasts. Watch this. Oh, they done switched it up on me. Oh, you got to throw a pass. I know you hear me.
Oh, okay. So we get the goal line. Your first play is a pass.
Hey, man, we trying to
get pass. So we're the passing team
right
now.
We
We get down with the goal line.
Right
We the passing team now. I never seen that. Surrender.